Dozolapa Sakasita, Ton Nepal Sambat Jinsasawa P. Soda, Pohelaka Paru, Son 2023, January 8 तारिक, विक्रम संवत 2079 पुस 24 गते आइतबार वर्ल्ड नेवा अर्गनाइजेशन पाखेन हेवे चंगु निया निथाय प्रसारण WDB अर्थात WNO डेली ब्रॉडकास्ट ठुगु खनाउला ज्याजले सकल सोकमी भाजु मेजु पिन्टा जी नरेश शाक्य पाखेन लस्को सियाना जना WDB खनाउला ज्याजो चिकपिसा नेपा इकटा बनिसिया गुटाइले WNO यागु फेसबुक पेज ओ जुमे लाइभ सोएदिफै अलि ठुकिया रेकर्डिङ WNO यागु फेसबुक पेज चिकपिसा ह्याबेन सोएदिफु चिकपिसा चाहिँ जुमे छाया टपिङ क जी ठौ पहा पिन्तना यस तयदिफु ठौ WDB खनाउला ज्याजोया न्यासव नि न्यु बो अर्थात 522 मा भाग ख निया निटाथे ठौनो चिसा पहा पि पन तयगुदु ठौ पहा पि म छम मखो चिसा पेम पहा पन तयगुदु वेकअपिङ ख ब्रुकलिन कलेज कोअर्डिनेटेड इंजिनियरिंग के निर्देशक भाजु प्राध्यापक MImLal नकर्मी वो न्यूयॉर्क यूनिवर्सिटी अंडर ग्रेजुएट बनामी मेजुपी आशिका साक्य हृदय ताम्राकार व निस्मा साक्य एटा थना चिसा खलाबला या एउटा बनतै गुडु चिसा ठो विशेष सेना चाहिँ थन WDB मे पि 5% विशेष अनुरोध इनाप छेन्दिल दासा थन हरेक ठो एजुकेशन सेक्टर न ठो कलेज ठो USA पति चाहिँ युनिभर्सिटी पति लाइफ युनिभर्सिटी एडमिसन यो बारे अयोनो सुच चाहिँ थन WDB मार्फत चाहिँ बी माला ढका चाहिँ इनाप जु कानै जिमसा ठो ठुगु कुटा यन्चनो ख ठो जिमसा ठो सोम मेजुपी वेकअपिङ चाहिँ न्यूयॉर्क युनिभर्सिटी थन न्यूयॉर्क सिटी दुको न्यूयॉर्क युनिभर्सिटी यापि वेकअपिङ बनाबी ख अले वेकअपिङ के चाहिँ जिसा वेकअप स छुबना चुना अले वो बुनेटा चाहिँ वेकअप स गुली गेना चाहिँ एडमिसन प्रोसेस गेना याना न्याका अले अनु बुनेटा स्कॉलरशिप गेना चाहिँ वेकअप स काया दिया आसवा चाहिँ उक्यु लागि तयारी कुकटा यामा अले अठे वेकअपिङ चाहिँ छुबी सोम मेजुपी चाहिँ मचबले थन अमेरिका जायदिपि ख अले थने स्कुलिङ याना थन चाहिँ कलेज एडमिसन जुएदिपि ख अले वेकअपिङ के चाहिँ ठो थनिपटि स्कुलिङ सिस्टम अले थनि कलेज सिस्टम बारे योके आइडिया दै जिसना त्या वो सम आछि पर्सके छ न अले अठे थन चाहिँ थन प्राइवेट युनिभर्सिटी चाहिँ बुनिबले थन योको टिवा टु अले प्राइवेट युनिभर्सिटी चाहिँ थु अंडर ग्रेजुएट बुनिबले पेरो टक बुनिबले तिमले 4 वर्ष तक बुनिबले योको टिवा टु अले उकी भटिजा टिवा मचाको हिसाबमा चाहिँ थन सिटी कलेज देउन दु तो सिटी कलेज चाहिँ 2 वर्ष बना अले सारा सिटी कलेज यो फिला यो क्वेड प्राइवेट कलेज याना प्राइवेट युनिभर्सिटी याना अले 2 वर्ष अनु बना चाहिँ अले अन चाहिँ प्राइवेट युनिभर्सिटी चाहिँ न बुन्जिउ मेको 2 वर्ष इंजिनियरिंग ए फिले अले उकिउ लागि चाहिँ चिसा एउनो छौ चाहिँ लफुटो रे चाहिँ कने त चाहिँ कना दित थन प्राध्यापक MImLal नकर्मी छु थन चाहिदिको चिवेकना पनि संकलन ल्याएको चाहिँ दगले नापा आशिका साक्य वेका चाहिँ न्यूयॉर्क युनिभर्सिटी थौने वेका सेकेन्ड इयर स्टुडेन्ट जुल सेकेन्ड इयर बना चाहिँ खडा अन वेका यो चाहिँ खास मु विषय चाहिँ इन्भाइरोन्मेन्टल स्टडीज वो इकोनोमिक्स ख वेका यो छौ यो विषय मे ख इन्ट्रेस्टेड युज वेका यो फिल चाहिँ सस्टेनेबिलिटी इश्यूज जुलसा वेका ठौने चाहिँ म्यानोमेट छौ नन प्रॉफिट अर्गनाइजेसन चाहिँ बिजनेस सस्टेनेबिलिटी ले चाहिँ छौ इन्टर्नशिप याना जुन दिएको दु आशिका दगनाबाजी आशिका त मसिका जन आशिका जोजोलपा वेका चाहिँ आशिका जुल अले हृदय ताम्राकार वेका बाय द वे आशिका चाहिँ थौने साल्ट लेक सिटी चुना दिएको दु हृदय ताम्राकार चाहिँ वेकलन NYU ले न्यूयॉर्क युनिभर्सिटी चाहिँ सेकेन्ड इयर स्टुडेन्ट क वेका चाहिँ मेकानिकल इन्जिनियरिङ बना चुना दिएको दु अले वेका ठौने चाहिँ गेटवर्क मेरील्यान्ड चुना दिएको खस वेका यो चाहिँ खास इन्ट्रेस्टेड सब्जेक्ट वेका चाहिँ भविष्य एरोस्पेस अथवा चाहिँ रोबोटिक फिल्डले चाहिँ वेका यो सोचाइदु वो फिल्ड आउने एसा चाहिँ मेकानिकल इन्जिनियरिङ फिल्ड न मेमे छु यो वटा दुला ढकाना वेका ल मला सोया चुना दिएको दुसा वेका ठौने चाहिँ कलेज याको चाहिँ अन क्याम्पस एडमिशन्स एम्बेसडर रुपे चाहिँ ज्यान चुना दिएको दु वेका यो ज्याड चाहिँ भविष्य वेपी न्यूयॉर्क युनिभर्सिटी विद्यार्थी तेटा वो अले वेकअपी माबु प्यारेन्ट तेटा चाहिँ टु एडमिनिस्ट्रेसन प्रोसेस बारे हो अले तो क्याम्पस टुर या के लागि चाहिँ वेका जना चुना दिएको ठौने अले थनदु Hridaya Tamrakar, Jojolapa.
Dodolapa.
Hridaya Tamrakar, Wekazula. Ale Memo Samachi Tom Parker, Nisma Shakya, Wekana New York University, Katsuma, Vidyaki, Wekatone Junior tablet to third year class. वेको चाहिँ मु विषय कम्प्युटर साइन्स अहिले वेको चाहिँ मेरो विषयहरु चाहिँ इन्टिग्रेटेड डिजाइन व मिडिया जुल वेको चाहिँ विशेष सेना ठौने एनवायु टन्डन अन्डर ग्रेजुएट स्टुडेन्ट काउन्सिलमा छ म दुजजी अहिले उल्जेको मको एनवायु च्याप्टर अल्फा एनवायु छ च्याप्टर अल्फा ओमेगा एप्सिलन धाउटी ओके न वेको चाहिँ दुजजुया जेम्स भन्थिको निस्मा जोजोलपा Dakle napa chipi ta jin so so bias na thong wake up ta jin so bachon bio da sa thona chai khala bala ya chole nyagu bhasa khala san ju wake up ta chu ka tha tya ji wake up ta bachon bio ju एजिया चाहिँ khala bala चाहिँ wake up sa अंग्रेजी अथवा नेवा भए अथवा बियो न्याउ भए चला सा चाहिँ wake up ta chindu should do to makla dakle napa so question test na wake up ta चाहिँ okay so guys now I am going to ask one questions to all. So first of all, the question is, what is your subject? What is your field that you guys are studying now? And why did you choose that field? So first, that question goes to Aasika.
Yeah, so I'm studying sustainability. So basically, sustainability in the private sector. So my major is environmental studies and economics, as you mentioned before. And I was interested in this field because of because of the ongoing climate change and how the private sector could contribute to mitigating those issues within business and things like that. And so yeah, I was first interested in like the urban side of sustainability, but then I moved more towards business sustainability because of how much corporate and like just general private like participation is needed in mitigating climate change.
Thank you, Aasika. So this question now I pass to the Hridaya.
So I'm studying mechanical engineering right now, and I chose this major because I like how broad it is. So I was exploring like a lot of different fields of engineering before coming to college, but I decided on mechanical engineering because of all the different fields you could go into. So I was thinking about going into either like aerospace or robotics, but it's not just limited to that. If I wanted to go into like nuclear science or business, the list really does go on and on and on. So I really like how broad it is, so that's why I chose it. And I also chose it because I always knew I wanted to do something in the STEM field ever since I was like in middle school. I just wasn't sure like which field exactly I wanted to go into. So I finally decided on mechanical engineering because of like the unlimited opportunities. Yeah.
Thank you, Hridaya. Now, Nisma.
Yeah, so okay. I'm majoring in computer science, and I also chose it because it's a really broad field, and I've always been interested in technology, even though like I didn't know what I wanted to do. So after like learning more about computer science, I decided to stick with it, and I also participated in some programs for computer science. And also, technology is basically like our future. So that's also why I decided to major in it. And then my minor for integrated design and media, I was looking at career paths, and then I came across UX design, and that interested me. So I decided to minor in that too.
So my next question is, when did you come US? At what age and which school? I mean, what grade did you start? Aasika?
Yeah, I came when I was 6 years old and I started in first grade.
Okay. Hridaya?
I came when I was 6 months old and I started in preschool.
So you came at preschool. Okay, you started from preschool. Nisma?
So for me, it's like I came when I was a little baby, and then I went back to Nepal and then I came again. So then I started school in pre-K too. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, now when you prepare for like admissions for college, right? So how did you, when did you start? When did you start and what did you do? And what scholarship, I mean, you are getting now? So that question goes to Nisma, and I will give past turn by turn, okay?
Okay. So I started applying senior year, but then with the SATs, I started pretty early, like I think before junior year, because I was in tutoring. And for that they helped us prepare like early on. So yeah, but then for applying to schools and looking for what schools I wanted to go to, that was towards junior year. And then the guidance counselors in high school also helped us with that. And for scholarships, I have a scholarship from NYU Tandon. And I also have a scholarship from my mom's bank.
Thank you. So I'm asking these questions because the most of the parents that they always contact me and contact us that they need some informations for their children, okay, how to get admissions in the colleges, okay, and when they have to start actually for the preparation. That's why I'm asking this question. So Hridaya, your turn.
So I started looking for colleges, I think the summer of 2020. So it was a summer before I went into my senior year. And just to get started, I just did a lot of research on what I wanted in a college. And I knew, like, one thing I knew I wanted was, I knew I wanted to stay on the East Coast. So when applying, I only applied to schools around Maryland, and New York, or NYU was the furthest school I applied to. I knew I didn't want to apply to any West Coast schools because I know, or I knew I didn't want to go too far. And obviously another thing I looked at was engineering programs, like schools that have good engineering programs. And as for SAT, I did start studying for it. I would say around sophomore year or maybe summer of freshman year. And for that, I also got tutoring. So it really did help me prepare and getting a score that was able to get me into NYU. And as for scholarships, I also have a scholarship from NYU Tandon. And for applying for scholarships, I did apply to a couple that my school was giving out, and I was fortunate enough to receive one scholarship. And as for the NYU Tandon scholarship, I'm pretty sure that it's not something you apply to. It's something that they consider you for when you apply. So there was no separate application, and that does go for a lot of different colleges. So when you do apply to a lot of schools, they automatically consider you for their scholarship. So that is something to consider when applying for schools. So yeah.
Aasika, your turn.
Yeah. So how I started preparing for college admissions. I guess you could kind of say like from freshman year technically, because all of the extracurriculars, which is like clubs and organizations that you become a part of, it matters for your college application. So it's kind of better to start in your freshman year getting involved in like different clubs in your school and also like in your city and things. So I guess you could say freshman year, and then from sophomore year I started the ACT prep. So I had ACT tutoring, and I did that for some time, and then like Hridaya said, I started researching colleges and looking for colleges that were like best fit for me and like what I want to study and things like that. So I did the university research around sophomore junior year, and then when senior year came around, the summer before senior year, I started kind of writing my essays a little bit, like just to prepare for it, and so I did that. So yeah, that was my whole college admissions process. And then as for scholarships, I have a local scholarship that you can apply to just which are I feel that are better than like the big scholarships that are very popular around the world and like in the US, because you have kind of more chances of getting them. And so so yeah, I have like a local scholarship from a local like organization here in Salt Lake City, and also the CAS one that's kind of similar to the NYU Tandon one that Hridaya and Nisma have. But yeah.
So first of all, we have some guests here. The participation in Zoom meeting. They are some of them are from Nepal. So I just want to explain the system of this USA college system. So what is the sophomore means? What is a junior, senior, and so can you tell the brief, Hridaya, about the system? So what year is called what?
So first year is called freshman, second year is called sophomore, third year is called junior, and then fourth year is called senior.
Okay, so and Aasika mentioned about the SAT, and also Nisma mentioned about the SAT. What the SAT means, Nisma? You
So
are
the
mute.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so the SAT, it stands for Scholastic Aptitude Test, and it's basically like a test that you can take to get like you get a score, and then the colleges would look at that score when looking at your application. For me, it was like you take either the SAT or the ACT, but I think throughout the years they've changed it, and now it's like optional, but yeah.
How much score is needed to get admission in NYU?
Well, oh, in NYU, I'm
Yeah.
not sure of the exact amount, but the maximum that you can get is on the SAT is 1,600.
So when did you start? You said before you start from the school
Start
to get it.
studying for
Yeah,
SAT.
to take this exam.
Oh yeah, yeah. I started like before junior year of high school because I went to tutoring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and Aasika just mentioned that you mentioned about involving in different local clubs or association that helps to get admission in college. So can you little bit elaborate what does it mean? So what type of clubs, what type of associations that we have to look?
Yeah, so some of these clubs and associations could be from your high school. So it could be things like student government or like just basically any club that your school offers. And I personally did student government. I did that for like all 4 years of high school. And it's like other types of clubs and organizations could also be like things that are in your city. So like for example, I was in this thing called Salt Lake Pure Court, which is basically like this organization. It's a youth court, and it's like a youth court that functions on restorative justice, and it's a court system basically for like high schoolers. That was interesting. But yeah, so like that's an example of an extracurricular, and like some other extracurriculars could be like internships as well. So so personally, I did an internship at the Natural History Museum of Utah, and so over there it was like kind of marketing intern type of a thing. And so yeah, there's like a lot of different types of extracurriculars you could get involved in, which are like within your school and also outside of your school. And so yeah, I think that those really help.
Thanks. Okay. Sokomi bazu mezupi thongzeng jisa thana pahapi punate pinka Aasika Shake, Hridaya Tamrakar, or Nisma Shake, wake up in someone New York University undergraduate student ka ale okay मध्ये चाहिँ Aasika Shake thongne Salt Lake City जुसा Hridaya Tamrakar Maryland Gatebox धाठासे जुला ale Nisma Shake चाहिँ thane New York City चुना दिगुदु wake up लिसी चाहिँ जिसा थो थनीपटी USU चाहिँ कलेज लाइफ एडमिसन क्या बारे अहिले विभिन्न ठुना पस्वापटु बारे खना चुना जुला ale अठेटु थना मेमो सम्म जिसा तना पहा पन तेको दु वेक का ब्रुकलिन कलेज कोअर्डिनेटेड इन्जिनियरिङ निर्देशक बाजु प्राध्यापक MImLal नको पनि वेकन अपन खलाउले याको जी ale वसो न्या चिक पनि छु न्यसा त दसा थना जी सोप मेजु पिन लिसे छु न्यसा त दसा न्यसा त दिफु लालुना दिफो सुन सम्बन्धी सुन new curiosity does ale wake up sa that sa dai wake up sa la लिसा बेदी अहिले जी ठाउँ नाचा ध्याट न वेक अप इन्ट यहाँ सुन भाषा थन चाहिँ खलाउले या जुरेका वेक अप इन्ट बचाउ बिहा थन बनाटेको जुली चिसो ठो चिसो अंग्रेजी खला छिलज नजुला okay so my next question is so you guys are living in the different city now because Aasika from Salt Lake City and Hridaya from Gatesburg, Maryland, right? So now you are studying in New York University. That means in New York City. So how difficult to live far away from your home? So Aasika, and same time, so how much do you have to spend like anyway? So if you can approximately, you can
Yeah.
and you
Okay.
can mention the amount if you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So how hard is it to live away from home? So I think in the first few months that you first move away, I think that's like the hardest during that time because you get like homesick and things like that. But after that, it becomes like fun because you're in a new city and you get to like explore the city and make new friends and things like that. And so it might seem daunting and like intimidating and like tough in the beginning, but like later on it gets really fun and it's like it's fun overall. And I think yeah, in terms of expenses, it is really expensive since it is New York. And so yeah, just the dorms, like I can talk about the dorms a little bit. So yeah, me and Hridaya both live in dorms, and the prices for dorms, it can range from like around 15,000 to like $20,000 per year. And so yeah, that's pretty expensive. And then just like other things around the city that you might want to do, like go out to eat at like restaurants and things like that, that can also be quite expensive. And it can really add up. And so so like it would be a good idea to also have like maybe some sort of on-campus job or something like that that you could do part-time just as pocket money. And so yeah.
Okay, so how do you manage all this money, Aasika? Just
Oh,
quick
how do I
question. So you got
yeah,
scholarship,
well,
right?
yeah. And then yeah, with the scholarship, and then outside of that, I guess you should kind of have a like a budget for your like a monthly budget on how much you want to spend each month.
Okay. Now, Hridaya, you are from the Maryland and you are living in New York City. So how do you manage? How is it difficult? The same questions for you.
Yeah, so when I first moved to New York City, which was August of 2021, that was like my first time moving away from home, and it definitely was difficult, and it felt very weird having like this amount of independence and freedom, only because like I spent my whole entire life living at home with my parents, so I was used to like having a very structured lifestyle. But when I was in college, like it was nothing like that. It was like everything was in my hands, like I could do whatever I want whenever I want. So that sense of independence was definitely scary at first, and I didn't really know what to do with that. But it definitely is something you get used to. Like Aasika said, it did take a couple of months. I would say, like I definitely did get homesick a lot throughout the first couple of weeks, if not the first couple of months. But I would say by the middle of the first semester, I definitely did get used to it, only because I was so busy with classes and making friends and hanging out with friends and adjusting to New York lifestyle that not that I forgot about home, but it was just like I was so used to making New York my home that it just made living there a little bit easier. Obviously, I did still miss home a lot. Luckily, I wasn't too far away from home. I was around 5 to 6 hours away from home, so I would only be able to go there for breaks like Thanksgiving break or winter break. And it definitely was difficult at first, and I know my parents definitely did miss me a lot, and I definitely did miss them as well, but it is something that like we're used to now. So I do come home during break, and that is when I spend time with my family and everything. So yeah, and as for budgeting money, it definitely was hard adjusting to budgeting as well, only because living in New York City is definitely very expensive compared to living in Maryland. And there were a lot of expenses that went along with it, whether it was going out with friends to go eat or just exploring the city. It did cost a lot of money. So I did get an on-campus job as well to help with finances like that, just for like pocket money and everything. And as for budgeting, like I think disciplining yourself is something that you have to teach yourself, because I think college is also a good time to learn how to be more financially independent. And that is what I'm trying to do as well. It definitely is hard, especially if you have lived at home like your whole entire life. But as I said before, I did get a job. So I had been using the money I got from that job to help with like just like pocket money costs, like if I want to go grocery shopping or if I want to buy myself something or go out and explore the city, I will use the money for that. But it is important to like set a budget for yourself and set a limit as to like how much you will allow yourself to spend during that given certain period of time. So yeah.
Thank you, Hridaya. So now I will ask to Nisma. Nisma, you are lucky because you are in New York City, all right? You are living with your parents. And at the
Yeah.
same time, you are losing your freedom. So what do you what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like living at home, I do save a lot of money, because I don't have to pay for like dorm and like the dining hall meals. But yeah, it is like kind of isolating sometimes because like as a commuter, for me it takes about like 40 minutes to get on campus. So I have to like account for that when I like schedule my classes and like clubs and stuff like that. But I feel like it's pretty manageable. Or maybe I'm just like used to it because in high school I also commuted, but yeah.
Okay, so thank you. So anyway, you got all guys, you three are lucky because you are all here in US. That I have seen some students who come here from Nepal directly, so they don't have parent with them. So in terms of that, you all are lucky. Okay, so we will have some program for those students also in future. Now, Lochan Manander is raising her hand. Lochan Manander, Lochan Dada, senior Satay Difu. By the way, Chin Thai Nana Kanadisani, wake up in the.
Now we are sort of free to speak in any language, right?
Yes.
Shubha, and maybe I can introduce myself that I'm Lochan Manander from UK in Lincoln. You did say that I can ask in any subject, right? Any topic.
Yeah, any topic. So it is not necessary they have to answer.
Okay. If you don't like, please feel free not to answer it.
Yeah.
My question would be that you are all in New York, US, and I'm a little bit scared now. My English is not as good as yours, and I also don't understand your American accent of English. But in any case, the question is that you are undergrad and you all three of you are sort of started the the school over there. Did you have any problem in the racial issues? Because the question I ask is that I found many Asian, especially the Pakistani and Indian over here, they found very difficult in school. Although they don't come out in England, they don't come out, they are a little bit reserved, they don't come out that they are doing the racial discrimination, but students themselves, the children themselves, they feel that they've been discriminated. Do you have that sort of feeling? Has any of you had the experience while you are as a student there? That's my question.
So this
And
question for all, right?
It goes to everybody.
Okay,
Thank you
so
very
this
much.
question goes to first Aasika. Do you want to respond?
Yeah, sure. For me, I don't think it has been that bad. Like, I don't think I've been discriminated to like a large extent or anything like that. But I think there are definitely like some like microaggressions a little bit going around. But for me personally, my personal experience has not been that bad, but I don't know about others. But
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
Hridaya, your turn. Do you want to respond?
Yeah, luckily I never faced any like racial discrimination or racism at all. And a part of that is because like I grew up in a very like diverse environment. So it wasn't like a majority of one race and a minority of another race. It was a very good mix. Here in Maryland as well as New York, I would say NYU is a very diverse community. So like everybody is very welcoming for the most part. However, as Aasika said, I do definitely see a lot of other people who do face a lot of racial discrimination. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nisma?
I mean, yeah, I agree with Ashika and Hridaya. In NYU, like especially NYU Tandon, there's a lot of diversity. So I personally haven't experienced like direct discrimination, but I have like noticed microaggressions and like biases. But I think it helps to find like a community that will make you feel more comfortable. Like for me, with my sorority, there's like surrounding yourself with people that you feel comfortable with, like helps a lot.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
very
you.
much.
Subai dulu sebentar itu. Nyesai lagi. Lah.
Ano meu sa ano ko nyen sa
लिपा पापी लो sebentar itu le. Lipa
Okay.
चाहिँ पापी. Tanah चाहिँ Shruti amate जुन लाल हुन दिएको. Shruti, yeah, you can ask question, Shruti. Go.
Thank you, Naresh. And it was a really
Camera
informative.
on. Can you turn on your
I'm
camera?
sorry, I'm having some
Okay, no
issues with the
problem.
camera. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
So,
No problem.
Naresh knows me very well. I work as an international student counselor and also the designated student officer for the international student. Regarding the question that Ms. Lochana from UK, I'm sorry if I pronounced the name wrong, just mentioned, I think it's United States and in different countries, the world has been so globalized that people from different countries are all around to pursue their education. And based on that, this world is very persuasive. So there will be definitely be bias and the racism. Even when we are in Nepal, we also face that with the caste system and all that. So this society is so persuasive. It's up to us how we take with that persuasion. If that does not affect, if you move along with your career goal, then I personally think, and I have seen lots of our international students, especially Asian students, they do not have issue with that. So it's all about the persuasive society, and if you take it or not, it's up to you. So that's what I will personally say. Actually, my son was also listening to this conversation, Nareshji, Bislex.
Yes,
and
I saw the questions from the Bislex and the chat.
Yes, so he wants to ask the question here, Bislex.
Okay, Bislex, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Bislex, and my two questions are: how can we know how many organizations are available in college or universities for you to apply to get scholarship? And my second question is, how can you identify the major you want to take?
Major subject, you mean, right?
Yes.
College. Yes. Okay. Very clear questions. Thank you, Bislex. So do you guys respond, all of you? Who wants to respond first? Hridaya?
So as for your first question about scholarships, as I said before, like for most colleges that you do apply to, you do automatically get considered for their specific school scholarship. So when I did apply to NYU, I didn't have to apply to any other scholarship, or sorry, I didn't have to apply to the NYU Tandon scholarship as a separate application because they automatically considered me for it when I already applied for NYU. So that is one scholarship you can think about when you're applying to colleges. Other ones, a lot of high schools do give out a lot of scholarships. And I think that is something you just have to reach out to your counselor about, and they could tell you more about that, or your teachers. And I wouldn't say I know like a specific list of all scholarships you can apply to, but definitely if you do look online, there are a lot of scholarships online. And yeah, I would say that's it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Aasika?
Yeah. As for the scholarship question, I think as Nisha said, you can there's a tons of kind of databases of scholarships that you can apply for online, and then like you can just search on there and just start applying and see what happens. So yeah, that's like a good way to do that. And then for the second question about choosing majors, I think a good way to kind of choose a major, like think about choosing a major, is probably doing research about what the major consists of and like the job outlook for it and everything, and see if it's something that you're actually interested in. And you can kind of see if you're interested in things by doing little courses online, like on LinkedIn Learning. There's like short courses that you can take, and then you can take short courses based on your potential major, and then see if you're interested in it. And if you do like it, then you can kind of just like go ahead with it and pursue that major.
Okay, thank you. Nishma?
Yeah, so for scholarships, there's a lot of options out there. Definitely make sure to apply to like FAFSA and TAP and the Pell Grant. And then for international students, there's the CSS. And besides that, there's a lot that you can just like search online. And especially as like a Nepali student, you have access to like more scholarships for like scholarships for Asian students, or like scholarships for international or like South Asian. Like you can just search it and you'll find like a ton, just like based on who you are. And yeah, like Hridaya said, your guidance counselors can also give you more information. And then for your major, like not everyone knows like what they want to do, so I recommend like just searching. Something that really helped for me was like going on YouTube and then searching for like day in the life videos of different majors, because that also helps to like get stuff from their perspective.
Thanks, Nishma. I hope so Bisles got answers from them. So
Thank you.
okay,
Thank
good.
you. It was very informative.
Wow, good. So so now we have another guest here. First, Professor Mim Nakarmi. Ninami Pazumezepi, Toy to Jazo Jison, Bisis Sena to US colleges, one New York College, Bivina admission, undergraduate, there's a admission process, so information chaos, पाँच बनाएको छ ओकेबी मध्ये चाहिँ विशेष सेना चाहिँ मेजुपी आशिका साके हृदय ताम्राकार निस्मा साके वेकअप सोम न्युयोर्क युनिभर्सिटी स्टुडेन्ट ख अन्डर ग्रेजुएट स्टुडेन्ट वेकअप योको खचिर सियरन दिट होला वेकअप लिसे हाना खला आचना मेमथमा चिसा पहा बनाएको टु वेकअप ख ब्रुकलिन कलेज कोअर्डिनेटेड इन्जिनियरिङ निर्देशक भाजु प्राध्यापक मिमलाल नकर्मी वेकअप चाहिँ ब्रुकलिन कलेज फिजिक्स डिपार्टमेन्ट यामा चाहिँ प्रोफेसर ख वेकलन जेन्स भन्थिको अहिले वेकसम्म चाहिँ फिजिक्स डिपार्टमेन्टमा चाहिँ पुलामा नायो अर्थात् चाहिँ फिजिक्स डिपार्टमेन्टमा हेड न जुया ज्यारेन्टीको ख वेकरिसँग लस्को स्यान्सना जजलपा मिम नकर्मीजु
जजलपा नरेशजी
डक्ले नापा ठाउँ चाहिँ विशेष चाहिँ तन्जिन सोकमी भाजुमेस पिन्ड चाहिँ छौ हुन खला वेक नापा चाहिँ नापा 2021 सेप्टेम्बर मेन पाके वेकै नब वेकै जाय बारे वेकन यान्सो रिसर्च बारे डुकिङ क खला ढुङ्कु गुडु अहिले चिकबिसा चाहिँ अन उगी छु पोलाउ एपिसोड चाहिँ स्वेदिफो ठाउँ वेक चाहिँ विशेष सेना चाहिँ ठो इन्जिनियरिङ to Brooklyn College using to coordinated engineering the suka to go system cut was shady uke bare khanada work at the some bona tazela work okay tre khalaga to coordinated engineering suka
to coordinated engineering Brooklyn College so City University of New York so senior college called senior college जुसाना दको कॉलेज चाहिँ दको फिल यो डिग्री अवार्ड यही मखोगा फॉर एग्जांपल आज न्यू कॉलेज साइंस दो आर्ट दो बिजनेस दो मोला तर जिमथा इंजीनियरिंग दो मोरो तर इंजीनियरिंग मोरो साना जिमथा चाहिँ छौ प्रोग्राम दो वो प्रोग्राम एटा चाहिँ जिमसा कोऑर्डिनेटेड इंजीनियरिंग प्रोग्राम ढका नाम बिया एउटा ठो ठो चाहिँ गयो ढासा चाहिँ student फर्स्ट 2 year college course, engineering college course, वो चाहिँ ब्रुकलिन कलेज यही अहिले वो ब्रुकलिन कलेज 2 वर्ष यो कोर्स या ढुंगा चाहिँ इपि चाहिँ एनवायु टंडन स्कूल ट्रांसफर जीगा अथवा डको ख एनवायु नापा रिलेटेड जोनी एनवायु टंडन स्कूल अफ इंजीनियरिंग वो ब्रुकलिन कलेज नापा छ आर्टिकुलेशन एग्रीमेंट हो र वो आर्टिकुलेशन एग्रीमेंट अनुसार चाहिँ first 2 year engineering college course, which is exactly the same course at NYU, इमसँग चाहिँ ब्रुकलिन कलेज कहिगा ठो चाहिँ गयो पड्डा सा ठयो प्रोग्राम मेरे मेटेन दो फॉर एग्जांपल गुली चाहिँ मस्तेसन कम्युनिटी कलेज 2 वर्ष कोर्स कहि अले वो कोर्स ट्रांसफर याना इंजीनियरिंग कलेज होनी पिन दो तर जिमसँग याना चुनाव ठो कोऑर्डिनेटेड इंजीनियरिंग कलेज प्रोग्राम चाहिँ ब्रुकलिन कलेज का course they are exactly the same course of NYU they are taking at Brooklyn College. अरे जीवले चाहिँ अले वे लिपा 2 वर्ष ढुंगा चाहिँ यदि इमसँग जीपीए मेंटेन यान तो दो अले इमी ग्रेड बाला सा चाहिँ इमी NYU ले ट्रांसफर जिया अले ट्रांसफर या बरे चाहिँ छिया माना सा जी चाहिँ उगे म डाइरेक्टर जोली आसुसु विद्यार्थी त ट्रांसफर जी इंटरेस्ट दु अले छु फील इंटरेस्ट दु अले वो अनुसार इमसन कोर्स जकन कंप्लीट या नका जी चाहिँ इम त नान छेबी मंगला ठोठो विद्यार्थी चाहिँ थनो गएटिया उन नहीं लगा हो अले इमसन एप्लिकेशन प्रोसेस चाहिँ इमी फर्मली हो या माला अले इमी जीपीए यदि बालर कर दुसा चाहिँ इमी ऑटोमेटिकली ट्रांसफर जिया very easy smooth process का हो चाहिँ अले वे लिपा चाहिँ नर्मली 2 वर्ष लिपा इमी फील अनुसार कोर्स चाहिँ एनवायु ले kai अले वे लिपा इमसे डिग्री देगा आ 2 वर्ष को कोर्स ब्रुकलिन कलेज kai जोले इमका चाहिँ ब्रुकलिन कलेज छुन डिग्री बी मखो इपि चाहिँ ट्रान्सफर जिया हुनी तर इमी फाइनल डिग्री चाहिँ एनवायु ले जिया आ ठुके फाइदा चाहिँ सुसुडु ढासा चाहिँ फर्स्ट फाइदा चाहिँ NYU हो प्राइवेट कलेज एकदम ठिकै मलाई अने ट्युसन फीस 40-45 हजार जी अले ब्रुकलिन कलेज ट्युसन फीस 40-4,000 5,000 वन अर्डर डिफरेंस ल अले सुम विद्यार्थी चाहिँ गुली चाहिँ छुजी ढासा NYU ले डाइरेक्ट एडमिशन जी त ठाकुई फोरा मलाई इमी अब सेट स्कोर अथवा मेमो स्कोर मोरिया छ न अथवा इन केस इमी हाई स्कूल लेभल चाहिँ इमी सुन कारण इमसँग बालके मफुट तर विद्यार्थी चाहिँ ट्यालेन्टेड ख अनि जसा चाहिँ अले ब्रुकलिन कलेज भया ठो प्रोग्राम चना अनुभव बियो कोडुगा जिमथा अब वर्षनी 10-15 जना मिनिमम ओली चाहिँ ट्रान्सफर ज्या चाहिँ बिन्दु अले वो ट्रान्सफर जुबि विद्यार्थी चाहिँ आजमी रेकर्ड अनुसार 100% स्टुडेन्टेसन चाहिँ कम्प्लिट आउट होगा NYU वाला उली जको मखो जिता जी निनाव ख अनुसार निमो विद्यार्थी त चाहिँ ब्रुकलिन कलेज एन्ड ट्रान्सफर याना NYU ओएमपी NYU टन्डन स्कुल ओएमपी इपि चाहिँ भ्यालेडिक्टोरियन भका इपि ग्रेजुएट जुपिन्दोगा मतलब एकदमै मोटिभेटेड स्टुडेन्ट हो NYU ले एडमिसन का मखन अले तर इंजीनियरिंग ये चाहिँ एकदमै इन्ट्रेस्ट दुपि विद्यार्थी त जिमसन ठो प्रोग्राम कया इमरा ले 2 वर्ष साइंस बेसिकली साइंस वो फंडामेंटल साइंस कंप्यूटर अले बडी इंग्लिश अयो कोर्स चाहिँ कंप्लीट याका इमरा चाहिँ ट्रान्सफर गर्न छ अठै याबले चाहिँ नर्मली गटजी रासा सम स्टुडेन्ट हो चाहिँ 64 to 68 क्रेडिट चाहिँ ब्रुकलिन कलेज कंप्लीट यही अले उयो लिपा बाँकी रु 128 बाँकी रु चाहिँ अले NYU ले ट्रान्सफर या हुँगा कम्प्लिट या अल ठुके मियो छौ फाइरा चाहिँ सुरासा नाज जिन राठेन र NYU ट्युसन फी एकदमै ठिकै तर विद्यार्थीसँग चाहिँ 2 वर्ष यदि ब्रुकलिन कलेज बन्द भएछ ब्रुकलिन कलेज 2 वर्ष बो फी ला एकदमै मिनिमल जल इन केस विद्यार्थी चाहिँ लोन काइमल भएछ NYU ट्रान्सफर जिन का लोन ला 2 वर्ष जक जल ठुके ब्रुकलिन कलेज फी ला एकदमै मिनिमम जल अले टोटल लोन आफ्टर ग्रेजुएसन चाहिँ almost half of the cost चाहिँ मलाई ठो चाहिँ अले मियो पडी फाइरा ठोय अनुसार चाहिँ जिमसँग आर्टिकुलेसन चाहिँ NYU टन्डन स्कुलमा पनि दो तर विद्यार्थी त यदि इन्ट्रेस्ट NYU भने इन्ट्रेस्ट मन त रहछ वो विद्यार्थी चाहिँ MImLal कलेजमा ट्रान्सफर याजियो फर एक्जाम्पल सिटी कलेजमा भने जो स्टोनी ब्रुक भने जो कलेज अफ स्टेटन आइल्यान्ड भने जो एकदम ट्यालेन्टेड स्टुडेन्ट त जिम्टे कोअर्डिनेटर इन्जिनियरिङ प्रोग्राम बनेनुगा कुपर युनियन न वम्पिन रोगा सम्झिनु मगा यो कोला मखो एकदम ट्यालेन्ट जिमा कुपर युनियन रहन्छ कुपर युनियन चाहिँ एकदमै वो त प्राइभेट ख तर कुपर युनियन रहन ढुङ्गा फ्री का ट्युसन फ्री ढकम फ्री का हुन्छ वो चाहिँ प्योरली डोनेसन नै चले जान्छ उपटि कलेज ख न्युयोर्कै ढुपटि का एकदमै हाईली कम्पिटेटिभ कलेज का इन्जिनियरिङ लाई आएर ठुली छ अब मेरो क्वेसन त छ यहाँ रेस्पोन्स
या जुवे चो क्वेसन दगा ठिकै चाहिँ मखला ठिकै चाहिँ ठो थ्योरी बालो प्रोग्राम दु मखला ता ठिकै चाहिँ ब्रुकन कलेजले मोटे यो कोए कम्पिटिसन डेमा हो केटु इत भो ठिकै मोडले खास
कम्पिटिसन ढका अब एकदमै कम्पिटिसन चाहिँ मरो सुजी रासा चाहिँ ब्रुकन कलेज ढका एडमिसन याबले स्टुडेन्ट र गुल्न होई इपिन ढको खासै इन्जिनियरिङ या ढका होई मरो छ सानो इन्जिनियरिङ ला अप्सनै मरो अले गुली गुली विद्यार्थी चाहिँ इमे अब ट्रान्सफर जिया बन ढुकी विद्यार्थी चाहिँ इमसा वो माउथ टु माउथ एडभर्टाइज या उठेन yana अठेना गुली गुली वो का इन्जिनियरिङ स्टार्ट या ढका सुरु लिसिङ वे पिन दु अले गुली गुली चाहिँ अन बने ढुङ्गा वे ढुङ्गा छोन्यो फिल बने अले थोला जिउलाई ठीक मोसन चोका ढका इमसा रियलाइज है अले वे टाइम इमसा चाहिँ हन इन्जिनियरिङ प्रोग्राम न दुखनी का ठनला ढका न इमसा गन खनी सम्झ विद्यार्थी नापलाई अले वे लिपा चाहिँ अले जिटर नापला होइ का अले गुली गुली विद्यार्थी सिनियर लेभल ठेन गाना इमसा थो चाहिँ जिउलाई ठीक मोजो ढका रियलाइज हैन हन इन्जिनियरिङ कोर्स चाहिँ कम्प्लिट हैन ट्रान्सफर हैन इन्जिनियरिङ कम्प्लिट या पिन दुगा आछौ किसिम अब आउटरिच प्रोग्राम चाहिँ मगावे खण्डो सारा सा हाई स्कुल जिबी हाई स्कुल एपि डकुमेन्ट्स त कन्ट्याक्ट यासन पाचक यो चाहिँ रेस्पोन्स चाहिँ मोर
नेपालमा वे पनि स्टुडेन्ट लागि चाहिँ एडमिसन याना अले वो स्टेप आउन जुके मजुदे
नेपाल वो पनि वे जियो तर नेपालमा वे पनि विद्यार्थीलाई चाहिँ सोचिरहेछ अब इन्टरनेसनल स्टुडेन्ट युज हुने ट्युसन फी चाहिँ इन्टरनेसनल स्टुडेन्ट यो रेट जी वर्ड चाहिँ आउट अफ स्टेट अथे जीवले अलमोस्ट ट्युसन फी चाहिँ डबल जिगा डबल तो सानो यो ट्युसन फीस याला एकदमै कम्ती नै अझन
इमो लागि न वे अपर्चुनिटी
35 ती यदि ट्युसन फी खसा आउट अफ स्टेट जीवले 9000 जिगा तर
अले वो चाहिँ
चोनेयो नेयो वो बाकी चाहिँ आठौँ खर्च या मानि
स्टेप चाहिँ वे ख मतलब ब्रुकन कलेज डाउन ढुङ्गा चाहिँ रिभर्स बना एनवाई ले हुन्छ
ब्रुकन कलेज डाउन ढुङ्गा यदि स्टुडेन्ट चाहिँ म्याथ कोर्स पहिला यहाँ दुसा चाहिँ वे सर्ट किए ओले वो इंजीनियरिंग यो कोर्स स्टार्ट यासन जिला यदि मैथ बैकग्राउंड मामला साइंस बैकग्राउंड मामला दुसा चाहिँ पहिला चाहिँ कलेज लेभल कलेज अल्जेब्रा मगला प्री क्याल्कुलस यो कोर्स या माल रहछ चाहिँ एक सेमेस्टर अथवा 2 सेमेस्टर चाहिँ ढिला जिपुगा यदि स्टुडेन्ट चाहिँ फिजिक्स यो बैकग्राउंड माला मैथ चाहिँ प्री क्याल्कुलस कम्प्लिट एन्डर दो क्याल्कुलस कम्प्लिट एन्डर दो अझ ढ्याउ खसा चाहिँ एपी क्याल्कुलस अझ कोर्स एन्टे ढुङ्गु छ चाहिँ स्टार्टिङ व इन्ट्री लेभलले इन्जिनियरिङ कोर्स याफु तर ठुके चाहिँ टोटल 64 to 68 क्रेडिट डिपेन्ड्स अन व्हिच फिल्ड अरे जीवले चाहिँ एकदमै रिगर का छु मतलब अब 6 सेमेस्टर 15 to 18 आवर 18 क्रेडिट कोर्स कम्प्लिट यहाँ हुनेमा 2 वर्ष भित्र कम्प्लिट यो खसा अले अरे जीवले चाहिँ छौ चाहिँ छोरा छ एकदमै स्टुडेन्ट त सेलेक्ट जुजु हुनेका 2 वर्ष भित्रै वो सेलेक्ट जुजु अले वो चाहिँ जीपीए न मेन्टेन यहाँ छौ दुसा चाहिँ एनवाई यो ट्रान्सफर जिटन अपल यदि आ विद्यार्थी चाहिँ 2 वर्ष बना का ठुली मिसिन ठाकु खनि का इंजीनियरिंग बने रहे जिला फै मखटा का ढाका म्यू कोर्स म्यूली ट्रांसफर या मासाना विथ ऑप्शन दो अल वो टाइम में चाहिँ छौ चाहिँ छुट ट्राभल लाई मखटा छ यदि एनवाईले वन ढुंगा 2 वर्ष लिपा वन चाहिँ का जिला इंजीनियरिंग बने फै मखटा ढाका वन टोटे माल रहा छ उ टाइम में ला वो 2 वर्ष यो लोन वाला ओके वाला ट्राभल आटा ठुकै ब्रुकलिन कलेज बना लो थि फी पला भने बोले इन केस अथे रियलाइज यार हुन्छ न वो चाहिँ यो को लोन ने ट्र्याप न मलाई त यो अल्टरनेट त न अनदु स्पेशली इंजीनियरिंग कोर्स काइप में विद्यार्थी हो फिजिक्स काइप में विद्यार्थी हो कोर्स चाहिँ लगभग 18 जी लाइक गुली स्टुडेन्ट चाहिँ इंजीनियरिंग ट्रान्सफर भएपछि फिजिक्स मेजर कन्भर्ट हैन कम्प्लिट या पनि
अले आठेसले नाचा चाहिँ छौ मेन्सन कुपर युनिभर्सिटी बारे चाहिँ वो फ्री एडमिसन दिएको वो सुखसको पछि इलाबोरेट यालो
कुपर युनियन छौ कलेज दु ठन अरि न्यूयॉर्क है अनि वो कुपर युनियन चाहिँ अनयो एक्सपेन्सेस डक्को चाहिँ डोनर त अथवा एलुमनाइ त इन्सन डोनेसन बिया इन्सन चाहिँ स्टुडेन्ट तके छिमसन या दिवाना क्यामरो नि ठगा अठगा एग्रीमेन्ट yana चलान्ट पनि अरि कलेज का तर एकदम कम्पिटिटिभ हो काम रहने चाहिँ मतलब अन यदि डाउन पर्छ सब फ्री का टोटली फ्री
ओके या यो को
न्यूयॉर्क के कॉलेज यूनिवर्सिटी को दु मलाई अलोके मध्ये ठना गुली प्राइवेट ले सिटी कॉलेज यूनिवर्सिटी ल किचिरो प्राइवेट ल अनेक थरी दु त्यो मध्ये छ एनवाईयू न ख छ रिपोर्टेड अठे चाहिँ कोलम्बिया न ख मलाई अले ब्रॉडली यको मास अथवा यको स्टुडेन्ट एडमिट मियो थौ चाहिँ सिटी कलेज अफ युनिभर्सिटी का ओके मध्ये 16 वटा कलेजले 6 वटा सिनियर कलेज दु ओके मध्ये छौ चाहिँ ब्रुकलिन कलेज अफ न्यूयॉर्क वो चाहिँ ब्रुकलिन ने दुगा एनवाईयू लन्डन स्कुल अफ ब्रुकलिन ने ठोना ब्रुकलिन ने जुली न छौ एक किसिममा छौ बाला रिलेसन दुगा
यकै कसो बाटो प्रोफेसर MImLal नकर्मी चाहिँ हेरे तना लोचन मानन रजु आना लाउटे लालुन दियो तो लोचन मानन रजु चिन्ता दिको
Sorry.
हजुर
ओके जी चाहिँ युके नखला मिम नकर्मी जो यकै कसो बा both of you तो चिके चाहिँ छौ नि मासे चाहिँ उनमेसी let me put it this way she चाहिँ अंकल प्रोफेसर जिया न्यूयॉर्क के ब्रुकलिन ने जाइन छ दियो होला जीसो निगा ब्रेन ड्रेन त्यही छौ शब्द निना त्यही दुजी छिसा नेपालमा चाहिँ ब्रेन आई that include me too as well नेपालमा चाहिँ ब्रेन ड्रेन नगा चाहिँ बामाला पनि स्टुडेन्ट पिने या छिस भन्न चुनाउटु होला तर औके त भाइसे वर्ष या छ गेरी सिकमिथे न्या पनि चाहिँ ब्रेनी मोनोटेट छिसा नेपालमा यंगा चाहिँ या छ गेरी छौ क्वेशन the reason I ask is that Nepal चाहिँ ब्रिटिश कलेज गाना दु मतलब ब्रिटिश कलेज दु अले ब्रिटिश चाहिँ खने थे रूल एन्ड रेगुलेसन फलो या अले चाहिँ नेपाली टेवा बुङ्कियो यदि मतलब ब्रिटिश मनु न वान्ट न अले नेपाली छैन बुङ्कु अथे जुली आ छि जन उल्मची नेपाली टेर हेल्प याना अंकना ब्रुकलिन हैदल which is well and good but at the same have you ever thought of doing the vice versa अथे याद किजने it will be more I think यो को हेल्प जिला अच्छा वजला अले another so very doesn't experience जेजोन सुरा छ नि छिसा मनु र चाहिँ पिने वे त अंडर ग्रेज बा ग्रेज या चाहिँ ने छे बुम या चाहिँ थनु वे मखला पिने वे युकेला युज वे अरे इमिला लोन ला पुलिमा loan pulled then after the graduation and they just don't find the job and part of the reason is that discrimination UK la do I mean that is why people don't come UK is very expensive as well so USA la jane dula morla musu thein तर no discrimination that they do job cat whether take it or leave it I don't know there are something happening there okay as uliana I have a very bad feeling about that brain must have hayatan bungi cho jane chisa yeah it is good but at the same time we have to think the other way around wo jula manga अलि मेल चाहिँ छि ढैडल अन स्टुडेन्ट चाहिँ न ढैडल डिस्क्रिमिनेसन मरु एटल इंटरनेशनली खले छि खला international student visa you pay double the money or triple the money. US jima UK le jima I face of that. Actually to rich country to say dhai developing country at help yan to na dhai. But on the other hand, so like vice versa, underdeveloped country at imson thewa kaya imson more than chondu thana. Internationally, that's how we say double the money. Makla, one of Chisa Chipina academic Jews as an Tona Chote Mala, they Jews and Bizarre, I mean, Jew Bizarre, that is up to you to guys think about it. Makla Chipina academic, you can make a rule, you can break the rule.
हजुर लसन त राखेको
पहिला चाहिँ ठो ब्रेन रिभर्स यो चाहिँ ठो जिमसँग फु चाहिँ यहाँ चनाउडो गहना यहाँ चनाउडो ढासा चाहिँ जी चाहिँ ठन रिसर्च यहाँ चनाउडो ठोय रिसर्च फ्यासिलिटी नेपालले देखे माल ढासाला ठाकु अथवा एकदमै ठिकै जोइले अन पोसिबल मोरगा तर छुया फोडा चाहिँ जिमसँग चाहिँ छुया मलाई छुया न चनाउडो ढासा चाहिँ जिमी समन्वयमा पास पे ठन पीएचडी ना ल्याउ पिनडो अले वो ल्याउ पी पास पे स अन का जितला ठन छु फ्यासिलिटी मोरो छ छु हेल्प या फुला लगा थाइ बेला जिमसँग इमी रिसर्च हो आज छु कम्पोनेन्ट ठन जिमसँग या मेजरमेन्ट याना वे रिजल्ट इन द बैक बिहार अले वो कोलैबोरेटिवली रिसर्च प्रपोजल रिसर्च पेपर छ या पब्लिश आउन दोगा वो चाहिँ समन्वयमा पास पे चाहिँ एकाडेमिक फिले पिन्जुल maybe someone pass me purely scientist naste jasan chompi wake up ina panna collaboration yana jimsa research paper chayo ale publish na yana ordoga जबकि यदि जी ठन मरु खसा चाहिँ वो रिसर्च कंपोनेंट एक्सपेरिमेंट चाहिँ या फैम का सारा जी नेपाल ल्याउन नसला वो फैसिलिटी दैला चान्स मरु आइ जी ठन्डो कारण हैन वेक अप सन डेगो पटि सैंपल के ठन है जी ठन मेजरमेंट हैन हना वेट मेजरमेंट रिजल्ट बैक हैन अले रिजल्ट न्यू कंबाइन हैन बैक एंड फोर्थ हैन रिजल्ट पब्लिश हैन ओडु अले वो छ किसिम ब्रेन रिभर्स छ मको छि एग्री अले मेरो चाहिँ हैन मेरो न छ छुरा नेपाली विराट ठन है इंटरनल ट्रेनिङ नआउज जी वो यदि जी नेपाल चौखा छ शायद जी पीएचडी है फई मको जी अले जी पीएचडी में मी त गएन पीएचडी आकी जी ठन पीएचडी या हुँगा अथवा प्रोफेसर जी हुँगा नेपाली छम विद्यार्थी त जी पीएचडी याका रिसेंटली वो इन्डियाले जागिर नहुँगा जी से उबक कमे मजिर होला वना छ नेपाली त्यो लागि फाइदा खनी अले आमिरो चाहिँ डिस्क्रिमिनेसन हेदिल नि ला जिन छ सजेसन बिरासा चाहिँ आठो ठन निना चम्पी स्कुले पे मस्तेट न अथवा पेरेन्ट्सतिर न डिस्क्रिमिनेसन भयो यहाँ हैन डेजी जिसले प्योरली डिस्क्रिमिनेसन एलिमिनेट ला 100% जिए मखजी तर जी न्यूयॉर्क के चुनाव जोले जी मेपी अने पार्टिसिपेटेसन ठ्या दिने न्यूयॉर्क ढ्या चाहिँ छौ ठयो ठ्या लागि थो संसार भरे ठन दु ठ्या जुल अले सुजि रासा नेपाली कम्युनिटी दुने ढाउने बले चाहिँ सुजि रासा नेपालले छुसो डिस्क्रिमिनेसन जो ठन्न उठ ज्या चौंदैगा मुखो अले पाकिस्तानी रिजन वन नसा इमसे इनी पाकिस्तानी प अन प्याय उइगा अ डको छठासन टेबल चाहिँ इबी भजा ठनठाला डिस्क्रिमिनेसन या जी मुखला ढगा चाहिँ ओ चाहिँ जु खनिगा तर उके मडेन ठने चाहिँ मन्द न दुनिया मुखला इमगेना आना ठवे पला दु दिने पटे एजुली वो चाहिँ हिँड्दै तर अब डिस्क्रिमिनेसन ओभरकम या त चाहिँ छौ चाहिँ छुया माठै छ भनेछ चाहिँ छु फिले छि डन्ट नगा अब छु पोजिसन चाहिँ एप्लाई या त एप्लाई या जिमी प्रोफेसर छौ जिरा छौ आइडिया छु बिउडा छ चाहिँ क्यान्सर स्टेट पीएचडी मा मनु अले मेमा छमा एमआईटी अथवा हार्वर्ड मनु वही वो निमसिम पछि एप्लाई या भाषा छन्डाला सोये मखने गएन सोये छन्दा मुखला वो डिस्क्रिमिनेसन खलाक मु सोये मसिन अले जिम प्रोफेसर छ आइडिया छु बेला छ सधैँ अथि हार्वर्ड एपी मन्टना पनि यदि कम्पिटिसन या खसा छला इभन सा एकदमै सुपर आउटस्ट्यान्डिङ किन माला छ अठेन्टो जिल्ला क्यान्सर स्टेट वो अठेन्टो मिनट मयासिङ छ वो पासक यानाला जियो मजु हार्वर्ड एपी मन्टना पासक यासन ठिकै जो छला पासक याना जियो मजु छ बिगे जिम सका धेमला ठाउँ स्ट्रेट न बढ्या मा भन्ने जिउ खाउँदा ठाउँ स्ट्रेट बढे जले चाहिँ अन डिस्क्रिमिनेसन या पोइन्ट मोरो ठिट का ठुला या मजु का वो अजो स्टेट चन्दा छ शायद वो छिसा थि ओके डिसएडवान्टेज सुनिम खला जिउ खाउँदा अले मेरो चाहिँ छिन हेदिसन वो डबल इन्टरनेशनल स्टुडेन्ट त डबल प्राइस छ तेमा वास्तवबाट हेर्दा चाहिँ अमेरिकन टेसन सायद ब्रिटिश सिस्टम नठेजी थो स्कुल बङ्गे कलेज बङ्गे हेर्न छ इमी बिजनेस ख मख अले जिन छ चाहिँ जी चेयरपर्सन जुले जिन छ प्रपोज नै याना ख थो इंटरनेशनल स्टुडेन्ट त छ डबल प्राइस अले जी चाहिँ छोडेर छ इंटरनेशनल स्टुडेन्ट त डबल प्राइस डबल अथि फी मका किसिममा छ ट्रिक यान हो फी चाहिँ डबल क्या हो तर 50% त एउटा स्कलरशिप ढका दिनु म पहिले विद्यार्थी न डंग छिटन घाटाला मज ढका ढया तर वो चाहिँ एक्सेप्ट मै आका छ ना छ एक्सेप्ट मै आका थो इंटरनेशनल स्टुडेन्ट को मखो आउट अफ स्टेट न्यूयॉर्क स्टेट पिन न वो विद्यार्थी न जिमसन डबल क्या हो अलि इम्टा चाहिँ मका इंटरनेशनल स्टुडेन्ट हाफ काल ला छ न इबि हाला यो अले एजिया चाहिँ थो पछि मजनी तर जी यदि अझ पैसा नै ठन्दा छ थो जी बरोबर उठे रहेछ
Yes, best wishes for that. I think I hope you will do it.
वास्तव बाय जिट के छ भने एड न या स्टेट स्टेट चाहिँ स्टेट चोपिने छवे स्टेट चोपि चाहिँ स्टुडेन्ट टिभ डौ अले मे पिन स्टेट पिन सबै टिभ ठिकै कारण छ र चाहिँ स्टेट तुन चोपिसमा चाहिँ ट्याक्स प्लस हुन्छ के स्टेट एटा मलाई वो हिसाबमा छ फ्यासिलिटी न बेटा होगा हो थो वे लोकल टेट चाहिँ फी डंगु कारण चाहिँ मलाई अले पिन ऑफिसले ट्याक्स प्लस डेम खोजुल एजिया नेम चाहिँ डबल आउट हो जिन न ख मलाई अले थ्वे छौ खै चाहिँ नाच प्रोफेसर मिम नकर्मी बारे जी भन्छ खस्यो छ निभु खकने छुटाले वगकले स्टुडेन्ट सम्म चाहिँ पीएचडी ना आफ्नो इन्टेलिजेन्स जाके नहुन्छ उndo जिन हामीले चाहिँ वो विद्यार्थी जिन मस्यो जिन हामीले इटा चाहिँ हाएको चाहिँ छ कनेको जिमसँग पीएचडी नभले जी एडभाइजर नभ चाहिँ इंग्लिश भए खलाना अंग्रेजी भए खलाना पीएचडी न वो पीएचडी आबलेला अमेरिका भए निवा भए खलाना पीएचडी न एडभाइजर दिसे
Really? That's awesome.
वे कना निवायक मलाई निम्न निवायक मलाई एडभाइजर न निवा स्टुडेन्ट न निवा अमेरिका वे निवा भए खलाना एडभाइजर लिसे खलाना पीएचडी न होला सायद सुना या खैमुख जी
Who's that? Who's that?
यो ना चाहिँ निकेश मार्जन का एकदमै बालम स्टुडेन्ट 58 इन्टेल हो न बालम स्टुडेन्ट ओके आज जिथन आइरिस फोन ढका थन लाल हुन चंगडु वेको सुथे थन चाहिँ जी ना चाहिँ मोगलो थन मखला छियो ना सुथे आइरिस ढका व चंगडु न आइरिस आइफोन छिन सतै दी फो तर ना चाहिँ छोटा दी मलगा सुथे आइरिस आइफोन
Mike is mute.
सुथे माइक चाहिँ म्युट चंगडु मखला ला चाहिँ हुन चंगडु दिगडु एक मलगा दिपछि खलागा ओके now the questions go to all the students, all here, Aasika, Hridaya, Nisma. Did you understand what Professor Mim said?
Yeah.
Yeah, you understood. Okay,
I
good.
understand.
Aasika?
Yeah, I understood.
Okay, Hridaya?
No.
Okay.
I don't understand. No worry.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Okay, so why I am asking?
Okay, let me briefly tell them. We have a program called Coordinated Engineering Program, and students complete the first 2 years of courses at Brooklyn College, and after that they transfer to NYU. So some of your friends might be who are transferred from Brooklyn College. So if you see some student who appear only in the junior year, right, they most likely they are transferred, and it could be from Brooklyn College. So this program is it's called coordinated because we have articulation agreement with NYU that student completes first 2-year courses at Brooklyn College and then final 2-year course at NYU. And they pay the tuition at the rate of Brooklyn College fee when they are at Brooklyn College, and they will be just like a NYU normal student after they transfer. So they save almost like a half of the fee when they are completing the first 2-year courses.
Okay. So now my next question is for Hridaya. So you are working as a on campus of admission ambassador, right? So what that means? What do you do?
So I talk with students and parents who want to come to NYU, so prospective students and parents. So my main job is giving tours of the NYU campus, and I just take them through the different spots on campus and tell them a little bit about campus life, like academics, clubs, dorming, food, the library, and things like that, and how classes are. And if they have any questions, they can come and talk to me and all my coworkers about anything related to NYU. And we do host a lot of different programs. So there is something called the Welcome or Home for the Weekend. And it's a weekend where admitted students or students who were admitted to NYU, they come to NYU for the weekend and they learn more about what it's like to go to NYU. And during that weekend, we host campus tours, we host information sessions. So there will be different information sessions about each of the different NYU colleges. So for like the Tandon School of Engineering or the Stern School of Business, College of Arts and Science, so on and so on. And yeah, and then we also answer phone calls, we answer emails, and we take over the NYU Instagram and the NYU TikTok. So yeah.
How many hours you have to work? So do you really have to give some time for your work?
Yeah, it depends on the student and it depends on your schedule. So I work around, I would say maybe around 10 to 12 hours per week, giving tours and doing all the other shifts. But if you want to commit more hours to it, you can. I think the maximum hours you can commit per week is 20 hours. So I do know some people who do that. It really is up to you. And I also did it over the summer. So over the summer, I was doing it a lot more because I had more time. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Now this is the question goes to Nisma. Nisma, you are as a member of Alpha, Omega, and Epsilon chapter of NYU. What does it mean?
So Alpha Omega Epsilon is a sorority, so it's like a sisterhood. And our chapter is the Beta Sigma chapter. So it's basically the girls, like it's for women in STEM, and it's a professional and social organization. So it's basically for everyone in NYU, and we basically have events where there's like professional development events where we help each other with resumes and career advice, and we have alumni panels, and we also have social events where we just spend more time together, and it's basically a way to like find a community within NYU. And yeah, it's like a group of people who support each other.
So did you learn something from them? What is the advantage of like involving such type of organization?
Yeah, so there's a lot of advantages. Since it's professional, we have access to like career opportunities and network opportunities, and we get to meet with both current and past members, and like we have connections within the industry. So that's one of the advantages.
Okay, thank you. Now the question goes to the Aasika. So you are now doing internship in business sustainability with Manomet, right? What does it mean? What does it mean? What do you do there?
So in my internship, it's about how sustainability could be implemented into businesses. And so what I do as like a part of the work is I research businesses, right? And then I contact them and I interview the business owners or like the founders or whoever. And then so I interview them about their sustainability practices at their business. And then I kind of make a report out of what they could do to implement sustainability more into their business. And so, yeah, I just do that.
Okay, good. So I hope you guys give us a lot of informations about your college life, right? So the final questions, because we are almost more than 1 hour. So final question is about you guys. How much do you know about Nepal Bhasha? Do you speak? This goes to Aasika first.
Yeah, well, I understand fully, and I can also speak it a little bit, but
You can
like
speak. You can
not
also speak.
not a lot, just very little.
Can you speak
Yeah.
something now? 1, 2 sentence.
Yeah.
Any sentence you can speak. Just we want to hear from you.
I can say. I don't know what to say. Wait.
Okay, no problem. Jane donla, Kenya donla.
Oh yeah, I can say something like that. Yeah, Daniel, yeah, I can say that.
Okay, so do you how much do you know about the Niwa culture?
A lot, I think. Yeah, I think I know a lot of it, because of my parents and stuff. And I go to Nepal and like I learn more, and so yeah, I think a lot.
So how much important these cultures for you? Do you think that it is important?
Yeah, I think it's important. Yeah, I think it's important to be connected to who you are and like your roots. So yeah, I think it's important to keep learning more and being involved in the culture.
And the last question is, can you commit that you will now learn the more Nepal Bhasha in future to communicate?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, hopefully I can say more than 2 sentences next time. But yeah.
Okay, I will pass the same questions to the Hridaya.
So unfortunately, I don't really understand much Nepal Bhasha, or I don't really speak Nepal Bhasha.
But you celebrate the Newa festivals, right?
Yeah, I
Newa.
was gonna say I'm very active in Nawari culture because although I was raised in America for all my life, I think my dad or like my parents made it very important to make sure that I was involved in the culture and I knew about the culture. And lucky enough, like where I live, there is a very big Nawari community here. So I was very active like as a child throughout my childhood and even now in all the Nawar festivities that happen throughout the year. And I do know a lot about like the festivities or like Junku or E or Bertaban. So I do know a lot about things like that. So yeah.
Great. Nisma, your turn.
Yeah, I do speak Nepali and I understand Nawari. I speak a little bit of Nawari, but yeah. And then for the culture, like same as Hridaya, I do know a lot about it because like both my family is Nawari, so I grew up in that. Yeah.
Thank you. So now Vijay Dual. Vijay Dual चाहिँ छु नि सदु ठेन्सँग ख. Nisa Teresa.
조절을 सकसित 지구 खास जिथा तो निसा निने दांगु चाहिँ छादा जिथा इ पचा सिधै चाहिँ जंगली जिगु निसा चाहिँ मिम सर खास नरेश सर अब इदन तमाला नापलागा जिगु परिचय बे जि चाहिँ खास तना विजय दुवाल तना जि युनिभर्सिटी अफ जर्जिया फिजिक्स डिपार्टमेन्ट पीएचडी स्टुडेन्ट अले तना अथवा जिजे खाल अथे थ जिथो प्र जाजो थना निनिले के खते जुल भाषा चाहिँ अथवा विषय वस्तु चाहिँ बच्चा अन्डरग्रेड स्टुडेन्ट्सको लागि चाहिँ बच्चा फोकस विषय छु न अले आजको नेसा चाहिँ थो जिथो ग्रेजुएट स्टुडेन्ट लागि दका छु जि छिपिसन दनि छु थना गोसा छु गएको दु अथवा छु दुसास गर्दै छ अले जि निम सर अथवा गेता सा जि मसिबि गुलिना पास बिन्दु सकले थना इन्डस्ट्री जैना छु चाहिँ खना मिम सर थना जिथो एकाडेमिया पाखे जुगुली चाहिँ गुली थाकु मलाई चाहिँ नेपाली बिन्त चाहिँ तर छात्र झिगु शैक्षिक जुन शैली दु गर्न कथे कथे हमेशा जी जी बोल्न न मलाई उगी वो थासा वया थन त छिता छित चाहिँ गुली थाकु गथे जु अथवा छु छिगु थम्छु अनुभव छु शेयरना या छिगु छु सिन्दु सास क त्यहाँ दित जी इना पेनागा
जी दक्ले पहिला वेबले चाहिँ छु रिसर्च फिल्डले या ढका जी पहिला प्रिडिटरमाइन्ड या वे आउजलो हो अठजीले चाहिँ जो अर्ली बिगिनिङ टाइम चाहिँ छुन लस मजलो अले वो रिसर्च चाहिँ ठ्याक्क संजोग सुझला छ वो रिसर्च ठ्याक्क वो टाइममा एकदमै अथि इमर्जिङ या छ टाइम जल फन्डिङ न प्रशस्त अवेलेबल हो अठजीले रिसर्च चाहिँ एकदमै वनगा छ रिसर्च प्रोडक्टिभिटी एकदमै जल आज जी पीएचडी ग्रेजुएट याना टाइम में तक याना येवले 25-30 वटाला जो पब्लिश लगा पेपर पब्लिश लगा अले वो कारण है ना जितना से एकेडमिक डाउन तो अप लगा मतलब आ जिन जनरल से थोड़ा सा ठाकुला डकोन है ठाकु मको आठौ इंटरेस्ट दो फील ये बोले थे वो कहते हैं एकदम बाला के हम लगा इंजॉय है ना मको आठौ जी थोड़ा सिरे के तो क्या होना मको लगी तो कहते हैं एकदम दुबई जुया अरे याना ये बोले थे ऑफिया आज जिन नाजना प्रिजर्ट है वो आठौ ची विदेश में वो भी मन तो मको छिटो चाहिँ ठो गुड ढेवला जाले मजुगा छ छिलाई गुड ढेवला छिसे छिटे नेपाली यदि छिटो गुड इज भेरी गुड भाषा छिला एकदमै डंग परेजी तर ठन गुड ढेवला वो जाले मजुगा गुड से लिपा भेरी गुड ढेवडु भेरी गुड से एक्सलेंट ढेवडु एक्सलेंट से न चाहिँ आउटस्टैंडिङ ढेवडु मलाई अरे जी कारण याना चाहिँ छिसे गुड ढगा जगा अनि गुड लेभल जगा थने छन भाषा चाहिँ वो अपेक्षक वो से ठाउँ त अपुइ मखो चारसा उके चेना मेमे लेभल दो छिटो टार्गेट चाहिँ एक्सलेन्ट आउटस्ट्यान्डिङ वने किसिमो यदि टार्गेट याना याटला ठाकुय ख ख मको एकदम डिलिजेन्ट जाय मला अले अठयाना ज्यासनले चाहिँ असम्भव भ्याउन मोरो ढगा ढाटिन होला नि खास चाहिँ मको अब एकाडेमिक वनेमा ढ्याउन मोरो याकै वसा जियो याकै वसा अब थर्ड इन्ट्रेस्ट दु ज्या उके चाहिँ जितो चाहिँ जाय मनसान ठो ज्या सम त यो जितो भयो अयो पनि फेले वन भएको चाहिँ उके या न फैगा न मतलब जे ठौ ज्याले चाहिँ इन्जॉय है मतलब मखो अले अठेना ज्या तासा वो एकेडेमिक वन मा हैन मरो इंडस्ट्री छिटे वन सन जिला याटा न्याउ फेले वन सन जिला ना यहाँ जिसे गुड जब ढका चाहिँ वो एकदम हैप्पी ज्या चाहिँ जने मुजी बाटो
आउटस्टैंडिंग ज्या चुन मलाई चाहिँ
छि छाडा छि विदेशी जो कारण है ना वो छो चाहिँ छिस सोचे ना टे मा
ओके विजयजी रे एकैको सुबाइरु न्यासाइ लागि विजयजीले
अले
फिजिक्स
अले ग्रेजुएट प्रोग्राम यो प्रोग्राम ढका हेदियो नरेश जी हो
फिजिक्स वो चाहिँ जिसा चाहिँ खुना जिन हाचन सुरु भएको ठो चाहिँ जिसा ठौ डक्ले नापा चाहिँ थो थोयोपडी जाजो एनो चाहिँ फर्स्ट टाइम खटो इन्टरभ्यु एनो चाहिँ ख मलाई ठो चाहिँ एजुकेसन सम्बन्धी अहिले चाहिँ टिके एडमिसन प्रोसेस हरेक त्यो कलेज लाइफ सम्बन्धी आठन थन जिसा चाहिँ ठौ या पापी आशिका हृदय निसिमा ठो वे कपि सोम मेजुपि चाहिँ थने स्कुलिङ मचबले थन चाहिँ युएस होया थने स्कुलिङ याना चाहिँ अहिले थन कलेज लाइफ न सूर्य पिन्जुल मलाई यहाँको वेकअप चाहिँ यहाँ होला ठो छौ चाहिँ फर्स्ट प्रोग्राम जुल आ मेमे प्रोग्राम चाहिँ नेपालमा थन डाइरेक्ट वपि मलाई नेपालमा डाइरेक्ट हुना वपि अझ पिन्तन जिसा चाहिँ कन्ट्याक्ट इज नोट ठो चाहिँ अहिले अन्डरग्रेड अनवे हाना पीएचडी यान चोपिन डुची पास छि तो नेपालमा वपि चिन यान चोपि जस्तै आ छिए जुल मलाई पीएचडी यान चोपि उल्जो मको पीएचडी या टुंगा हाना पीएचडी टुंगा आइपी करियर मलाई मेमे फिल करियर पि अयो पि दको छिसा चाहिँ मुनु चाहिँ माला चुनौडु थो चाहिँ छौ याना मलाई याना के छिउ छौ थoi विचार दसा अथवा छि मसिपि ठजौपटी त टपिक सज युज दसा छिन डाइरेक्ट स्वाबोट एडिफ जिता मलाई जिमटा थना चाहिँ डब्ल्युएन हो थना डब्ल्युडीबी जिम छौ कमिटी टु अन जिमसा चाहिँ ठो ज्याजो न्याके मलाई गुलिफु उले चाहिँ छिसा चाहिँ ठो पिने कगा बिचान छ एजुकेसन सेक्टर ठुके लागि छु टरु खमको छिसा न्याब्ले न न्यागो टाइम नै छ ठो ज्याजो न्यागो विषयलाई न्याकिफु तो छ आ चाहिँ एकैको सुबाइरु विजय जेटा आ चाहिँ तकले लास्ट वे ढंगलो मलाई okay now the last question is, do you have any things to say in a few words at the end, Nisma? So do you have any things to say in a few words about your opinion or anything through this WDB at the end? So
Yeah, about WDB.
About WDB and anything. So if you have to say anything, in a few words,
probably you can also add some suggestion to parents and high school students for
Right.
admission in the college level.
Okay. Well, first for this WDB, I think this is a great way to help like other people learn about, like for this podcast, like helping other people learn about education in the US. And then advice for the parents and like other students for college, I would say like just to use as many resources as possible, because there's a lot of things out there to help you, especially like Google and then like your schools, and just like use as much as that as you can.
Thank you. Igu subadu Nisma Hridaya, your turn.
I would say like one piece of advice I'll give to like any of the students watching is like to not be scared to apply to all the colleges, even if you think like it may be too hard to get in, or you may have like doubts about yourself getting accepted. I think it's important to like give it a shot, even if you think you won't get in, because then like you'll never know and you might end up regretting it later. So I think it is important to like apply to all the colleges, even if you do think it's hard. And it definitely is important to like be involved in your culture, and I think like this podcast or this interview is a good way of doing it, and connecting with everybody from all different parts of the world. So yeah.
Igu subadu Hridaya, Aasika, your turn.
Yeah, yeah, so for advice for college admissions, I think a very important thing to do is make sure you do enough research about all the colleges that you want to apply to, and then do a lot of research and then apply to them. Don't doubt yourself, like Hridaya said. Work hard on it, but don't stress yourself out too much. And then about the whole session, I think this is a great way to get information out there to everyone, and I think it's great. So thank you.
Igu subadu Aasika Professor MImLal Sundaiji Maudasa, Tanadaluji Mart from Mrs. Des, Alichita Jazo Kotakaze.
Dokle na pala Naresh Shakya subai jito anasaka sota thana WDB le invite yana diuling. जी छौ सुरा छ चाहिँ नेपाली पेरेन्ट्स द स्टुडेन्ट त यदि थ मस्ते त चाहिँ टेक्निकल फिले इंटरेस्ट दोसा मखला हाई स्कूले अयो इंटरेस्ट यदि छु खन्ना छ चाहिँ मस्ते त चाहिँ फिजिक्स मैथ अयोली चाहिँ चाहिएको प्रोत्साहन बिहारिस फिजिक्स चाहिँ एकदम ठाकुर ढकान अनि वो अयो किसिम न अठिया मजु प्रेजेंट या मजु छाड़ा सा ठोंकने नाबा चाहिँ फिजिक्स थियो एकदम ठाकुर ढका ढाई ठोंकने फिजिक्स बने चाहिँ बुंके तरिका फरक जुइ ढुङ्ला अले बने तरिका न फरक जुइ ढुङ्ला फिजिक्स एटा चाहिँ एकदम अपको सिने किसिममा यो को तरिका त पिके ठुंडु अले वे अयो प्रयोग चाहिँ ठोंकने हाई स्कुले कलेज ढकन थाइया ढुङ्ला एजुले फिजिक्स ढका चाहिँ ग्या मुआ अले थो चाहिँ जिन छ ढाटिन होला चाहिँ जे एशियन ते मस्ते त अथवा एशियन ते त चाहिँ यदि युनाइटेड स्टेट्स चुने खसा चाहिँ छ इम्प्रेसन चाहिँ छुरा चाहिँ एशियन मन त चाहिँ टेक्निकल फिले चाहिँ छिपी चाहिँ स्ट्रङ जुयो खनिका ढका चाहिँ छ इम्प्रेसन दोगा मखला अले यदि टेक्निकल फिले हुने खसा चाहिँ फिजिक्स व मैथ चाहिँ एकदमै इम्पोर्टेन्ट स्टार्टिङ है अले वेको एजुअली वेको मस्ते त चाहिँ ओके चाहिँ इन्स्पायर यान दिस अले यदि इंटरेस्ट मोर सा चाहिँ हाना छु फिल ए इंटरेस्ट छु वे फिल ज कन यान छ जबरदस्त न यान दिमते ओके जबरदस्त याना वो यो को एशियन कम्युनिटीले चाहिँ छ चाहिँ डक्टर जिमा छ चाहिँ इंजिनियर जिमा भका यो प्रेसर यही नदो मस्ते त इंटरेस्ट मरेको ओभर प्रेसर न या मजो उली जगह
हासिको सुबादो सकुमी बाजु मेजे पि ठोए ठो जिगु जाजो चाहिँ न्यासो निगु भाग 522 भाग अले ठोए जी ठो पहा पि चाहिँ प्राध्यापक MImLal नकर्मी वेको चाहिँ ब्रुकलिन कलेज कोअर्डिनेटेड इन्जिनियरिङ निर्देशक ख अले मेमो चाहिँ जी सोमो मेजु पी पापी का आशिका शाके हृदय से ताम्राकार निस्मा शाके वेक अप सोमो न्यूयॉर्क यूनिवर्सिटी अंडर ग्रेजुएट बनाबी बी का जी नाचा दै थिए ठौँ एटो विशेष थो ज्याजोले चाहिँ वेक अप मेजु पिन्ड चाहिँ यहाँको भाषा न खला जोट हो जी बचम बिया छु कारण वेक अप चाहिँ अंग्रेजी खला लेना ठौँ ओके पर चिपिट बचिने जो जी छम फना छना एना वेक अप चाहिँ योको चिटा चाहिँ योको चाहिँ इन्फर्मेसन बियाजला ई बियाजला योको सुबा आशिका हृदय सा निशिमा very thank you so much for your time ale professor mim nakarmi ta we kala ebs la yo ko suba thwe da sin thoi tho jajo ko sa ke nyo kone sha paha ji samalochok upanyashkar na pa baha chomi mejo arpana pran na ba pradhan na pa khala la ya go ji thwe da sin thoi tho jajo ko sa kana suna akhna saka simta suba ale dozolo pa